The following program is for entertainment only. This is not a how-to video. This is not a tutorial video. This is just a video for your entertainment and to show you that you are not alone in this process. Now enjoy. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Flat Top Noob. So today's the day. We are going to season the griddle. I've chosen to use avocado oil. Somebody out there said it's got high heat, which on the front of this it says 500 degrees. So I've never done this before. So if you want to destroy me in the comments, go right ahead. But this channel is all about learning together and trying to figure this out on our own. So without further ado, I'm going to change around the griddle over to there, set up some cameras, and we're gonna start seasoning. I hope it's not a big disaster, but we'll go from there. All right, so as you see, I flipped this around and I've taken the hood off. This is going to be the only time that you're going to use water. So I'm going to actually use soap and water to clean the whole bottom of the whole top of this griddle. What we're going to do is I'm going to try and put a light coat of water on here. I just want to get all this sticky stuff off of here. I'll probably go along the edge here. I don't know if I want to go along the edge here, but at least on the top and some of the edge here, like this is all sticky right here. So I got my paper towels. I probably got way too much soap, but I'm going to clean this off the best I can. Like I said, noob. Probably should have got some water so I can. Yep, should have got some water. Oh man. Jiminy, criminy, Jiminy. Ay. I screwed up. I think I'm gonna use a small towel for this too. I don't want to get that soap to dry on there like it is. Oh boy. Did I screw this whole thing up? I don't know until I find out. Oh, it'll be fine, they say. I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't fine. Well, I hope I didn't screw this up. Oh my lordy. Noob. I'm sure you're laughing right now, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is, I've had a whole bunch of people tell me to, you know what I forgot? God bless it. Ay. I bet you wonder what I forgot. Battery. I ain't gonna ignite without a battery. Now the question is, which way does this go? Open this way? There it goes. How you put it in right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I forgot what I was saying earlier. So a lot of people are telling me, or a lot of people told me they start off high, and then there's other people that are saying start low and bring that temperature up on the griddle for the first time because it'll warp. So I'm going to do the latter. I'm going to start out low on each section or whatever, and then we'll bring the temperature up. And then once this starts to blacken or whatnot, I'll go ahead and throw the oil on there and start going, let it burn off, and then I'm gonna probably do 4 or 5 coats. So We'll go through the first coat, and then we'll skip those, and then we'll go to the last coat. It'll take a while. I have no idea what temperature to put this oil on, so I guess we'll find out. You may put a coat on now. I'm going to use tongs and these paper towels. See where we're at. 141, 180, 164, 127, 93. Got a long ways to go to get to 500. A whole lot. Probably put way too much on here.
Too much oil, and I see it all the time.
So I screwed up. These paper towels were leaving a whole bunch of fiber on the griddle, and that's, you don't want, really don't want that. Noob. So I got one of these towels. They're not going to leave any residue. Let this bake off of here. Looks like there's a bunch of pooling down over here. Let's get this stuff. I don't want the pooling. It's in the corner, but regardless, you see how it's starting to blacken right here. So that's a good sign. That's probably in the way of that. So that's all blackening. If I pointed at that, 292, 275, 293. If we get over here, 244, 237. So it's going. And then over here in the corner, 120, 138, 157, 163. So I still see smoke burning off of there, so you let that all fester down. I'm going to go do 3 or 4 more coats, and then I got the time lapse going, so we'll do a time lapse through all this stuff and then come back into that last coat. Enough coats over, it ain't going to matter. I just don't want.
You'll get enough. I'll bring this griddle seasoning by and one of these scrapers over for you. But
all right, well,
a pack of 5 here.
Well, so. After I get this burned off, can I stop this and then proceed afterwards?
So with this griddle seasoning I got is, it says wipe down surface, just basically get the dust off, and it says preheat griddle or cast iron. Scoop griddle seasoning and apply to the surface. That's what this is, griddle seasoning. It's just fat. Spread griddle seasoning around. Let the seasoning burn and smoke off. Repeat 3 to 5 times, minimum of 3 times, and then you can start cooking. Maintain seasoning. Apply it in later after each use, after cleaning. And then it says it's got griddle sizes. 1 tablespoon for 17 to 22 inch, 2 tablespoons for 28 inch, 3 tablespoons for 36 inch.
All right, well, I'm going to let this I'm going to let this burn off and then just shut it down till...
Okay, yeah, just shut it down.
Quick check-in on how this is progressing. Not so good. I don't think this is right. You see all that?
This is a telltale sign. Your griddle has a thin layer of oil on there that actually hasn't had a chance to season yet.
I'm just going to let this smoke and burn and burn and smoke and let it get going. My brother came over and gave me some of that stuff, but I think I really screwed this up, but we'll see. Let's just wait for the final product, and I don't know. Yeah. All right, I've been fighting this thing for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. The temperature will not get above 300. So what I'm actually going to do, I've cooled it down. I've actually tried to reset the regulator, did all that fun jazz, still 300, and that's about it. It's not a very good time when you're trying to season this thing. I'm hoping I haven't screwed it up. But I'm actually going to take the top off and try to figure out these air gates. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire it up and see where my flames are at and try to adjust these air gates. So this is something that you're going to have to figure out whenever you get this thing. If you don't know, like me, this is noob. So I'm going to take this off and we'll fire up and see what happens. Okay, I'm an idiot. But to be fair, for the last 3 years, I have a tech channel on YouTube that does computer builds and all that stuff. And when we deal with the temperatures in the computer world, we use Celsius. Here in the United States, on everything else, we use Fahrenheit. I had this stupid thing on Celsius and didn't realize it until after I did all of this nonsense that I didn't have to do in the first place. So now I'm sitting at 587, 580, 516, 19, 466, 490, 507, 515, 522. So I'm an idiot. So yeah. What am I supposed to do for that? I can't do nothing but own it, so I'm owning it. All right, so I really screwed this thing up. I mean, really screwed this thing up. It's pooling, it's sticky. I over-seasoned it, under-seasoned it, did something or other in it, and so now we gotta scrape off a lot of this gooey, gunky stuff that didn't have a chance to burn off yesterday, and then the whole Celsius debacle. So what we're going to do is we're going to scrape all this stuff off. We're going to bring this thing temp up before we start on this. I'm hoping I don't screw it up. Otherwise, it's going to be more and more work, but it's what it is. So I'll see you guys in a second. We're going to do an overhead camera of me doing this, and then we'll go from there. All right, so first what I'm going to do, I've got 500 plus, like 510. There's one spot here that's 540, but everything around here is 500 or more. So what I'm going to do is take the scraper. I got a whole bunch of puddles here. Maybe I can, before I put water on here, scrape this. Might have to use that stone. What I'm going to do is try to scrape. Yeah, see that big old chunk? See all that? See that junky yunk? I'm going to have to get something to put this in. Paper towels ain't going to do it. Find a bucket or something. Did not think this through at all. Did not think this through at all. Ow, that's hot. Okay. All right, we're going to attempt to use this for the whatever. Okay, I'm about to do a no-no, but I want to get all this dusty stuff off of here. I scraped this all up. See how much dust that was? I just want to get that residue off of the griddle before I even attempt to put more oil on it. Let this turn cool down so I can clean it. I did get these paper towels are Viva. Toward the bag. Viva, they're soft, no lint paper towels. So that's where I screwed up yesterday with the paper towels had lint and it was going all over the place. Plus I was using too much oil. That got all that nasty stuff off of there, all the debris, except for this bug right here. All that powdery crap. All right. I'm going to just put a little bit here. Just a little bit. Not going to do like I did yesterday. Learned that lesson hard. We're gonna let that burn off, and then we're gonna try again. So I might go through a few more coats off camera just to see where we're at, and we'll come back and see where I'm at because this is take 2. So I might not even use this. That scraper did a pretty good job. So be right back. Boy, oh boy, that was fun. So I actually, you saw me strip it down again. I put about 5 more coats on that thing, and now it's nice and smooth, ready to cook. So next week is Memorial Day, and I was informed that the first cook we're going to do is smash burgers. Well, of course, we're going to do smash burgers. I mean, why wouldn't you? That's why you get this. That and breakfast. So Saturday, I think we're going to do smash burgers. Sunday morning, we're going to do breakfast in the morning and then go from there. So if you guys have any laughter, comments, or what have you, you know, I can take it. Just be nice about it. So, because more than likely I will agree with you because I'm a noob. So, and that's what this is all about, is being new to this, showing people you're not alone when going through this process. So I will see you in the next one. Smash burgers are next. So come learn with me.